All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Emmanuel Adigbola, and I'm so excited to co-host this event where we'll be talking about your vision, talking about your eyes, talking about how you can see. Someone says that it's not everybody that can see, but today we're going to be demystifying that and know, can you be looking and you don't see? Or can you see without looking? And those we'll be discussing today. And I'm not alone. I have my co-host. I have two special guests in the house. And of course, we have the one and the only, the host, the elegant host of a Kinaet show in the house. So I will be bringing our panelists to introduce themselves one after the other. So let me start with Dr. Christopher. Over to you, Dr. Chris. Can you hear me? Dr. Chris, it looks like you're freezing. Okay, let's go to Dr. Jackie. Go ahead.
Hello. So I am an optometrist here in Denver, Colorado. And I have been practicing for, 8 years now. And so my mission is to utilize, telehealth technologies to really allow a broader access to care when it comes to eye health. So that's kind of my story.
Awesome. We are so excited to have you here. And of course, we have no other person than Senator Chief Dr. Bright, all the way from Nigeria. Go ahead and say hello to our viewers and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. Bright Ugochukwu is my name. I represent David Omedogo Foundation here in Nigeria, and I'm glad to be on this show. Thank you.
Awesome. Let me bring in our co-host to introduce himself. He's going to be pioneering the keynote of this event today. Over to you, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Mahiri. Like he said, I'm going to co-host with him in this program. Welcome.
Awesome. We have another panelist, and I believe the Wi-Fi is misbehaving, but he will be joining us very shortly. And as soon as he joins us, we will be introducing him. But with all our standing ovation while we remain seated, let's welcome the elegant host, Dr. Kina, as she introduces today's topic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Kina Health Show. Today, we are going to be discussing one of the most important sense organs in our body, the eyes. It's obvious that most of our daily tasks cannot be completed without our eyes. But despite its importance, most people neglect this organ and take it for granted until it starts giving them some trouble. How can we protect or care for our eyes to ensure that it continues to serve us for as long as we live? And if we're experiencing challenges, what do we need to do? How do we go about fixing the issues? Please join us, listen, as we have some experts today that are going to discuss this important issue. Welcome.
Awesome. I don't know whose sound is making or whose system is making that sound. Thinking, okay, that is not Dr. Tina. That is not Mr. Alex. That looks like a Dr. Jackie. So, okay. So I'll be meeting you in and out, but you can go ahead and, okay. Can you try and unmute yourself, Dr. Jackie? Okay, good. Okay, so I see that's from your end right there. Okay, so let's just dive in without any further ado. Mr. Alex, over to you.
Dr. Jackie, I can't see you, but are you hearing me?
No, she's not. Okay, so while we are waiting for the both of them, maybe Dr. Bright can just kick off by telling us what is happening in Nigeria while we are waiting for the both of them to join us.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. The topic today is very, very important, especially here in this part of the world, because all the
Okay, so what's going on? Equal is frozen. Are you with us,
can you
Dr. Bright?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, the devil is a liar. Continue. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay. All the years, David Medical Foundation has conducted medical mission. Something is very, very striking. If you have a population of, say, about 4,000 people who came out to receive medications, all of them will have an eye issue. Either they're not reading well, they're not resolving well, or the sight is bad, or they need surgery, or not all may go for diabetic medication or hypertensive medication, but everybody must at least get a reading glass. And we begin to ask, what is the problem? We have consulted with a team of our experts, and they're telling us that because carbohydrate is consumed here in this part of the world a lot, it adds to most of the eye issues we are having. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. It contributes to most of the eye issue that is becoming a very big problem here. Now, the foundation has not relented in bringing succor to people who ordinarily cannot afford it. Starting from back 3 or 4 years back, we embarked on an aggressive distribution of reading glasses, at least to people who cannot afford it. From 2018, each medical mission we conduct, we distribute not less than 4,000 or 4,500 reading glasses to people. We do it when we do our medical mission in December. We do it in August, where women gather for their meetings. We take a point of what they are doing and display health and distribute reading glasses. We also do it when we collaborate with other organizations like BC USA to conduct medical missions. So this is part of what we are doing to at least to step down the issue of sight and add our own quota to national building. Thank you.
Awesome. That is very impressive and that's very interesting. Does anybody have any question for Dr. Bright, or you want to add to what he has already shared?
I just wanted to add that David Medical Foundation have partnered with Restoring Vision to make this possible. They have been sponsoring these free classes for us for the last 4 years. About 3 years ago, they joined us in one of our December outreach, where we visited about 4 local communities, and they were there with us live, gathering data that they would use to support the need back in Nigeria. So we want to thank Restoring Vision for all the support that they've given David Medical Foundation in making sure that people's sight, people eye care, and people need for reading glasses are met back in that part of the world.
Awesome. Dr.
Just to add to what Dr. Kina has said, right. not just in 4 local communities, across the state and across the southeast, we partnered with the wife of the then governor of Imo State, Emeka, of which we had a team of volunteers chaired by Dr. Christopher, who was championing that medical mission. And I can assure you, all local councils here in Imo State, we distributed reading glasses in each of them. Not less than 3,500 women in each of these local councils got it in 2019. Thank you.
Awesome. Dr. Gochuku Bright reporting from Nigeria. That is so awesome. I think that deserves a round of applause. Everybody is doing that. You don't have to change the world, but the little you can change at your own corner can also make a lot of impact. Okay, so Dr. Jacqueline, are you with us now? Dr. Christopher, are you with us? Are you guys with us? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, loud
Good.
and clear. So what is happening is that Facebook is not streaming this event. I don't know, for some weird reason. So I posted something right at the private chat. If we can do it, it's not mandatory. If it's going to destabilize your setup, don't do it. But if you know how to maneuver yourself to post this on your Facebook profile, or if Dr. Bright can copy that and also post on the David Omeneko Foundation, for those that possibly might be looking for the link or for the streaming on Facebook and they're not getting it, because right now it looks like it's only streaming on YouTube alone. Okay, so we can do that. Over to you, Mr. Alex, as we get the party started.
People know how to take care of their eyes, and we want to start by asking, what do you consider to be a healthy eye? Are you out again? Okay, Emmanuel, take up the question. What do you consider to be a healthy eye? Dr. Jackie.
So, that's a very, loaded question of what is considered a healthy eye. There's so many things that would make an eye not healthy. But, basically, people think that just because they need glasses for distance or for reading, that there's something wrong with them, that they're blind. That's not the case. That is simply, genetics as well as just the shape of the eye coming into play. But a healthy eye is one that, is seen regularly by a practitioner, and also that is void of anything that is going on with the retina typically. So retinal detachments, retinal tears, macular degeneration. But then we also look closely at individuals who have pre-existing health conditions, and the eye is a wonderful mirror in terms of what is actually going on in the body. And so for those individuals, who do have hypertension, do have, you know, uh, diabetes, the eye health can definitely be negatively impacted if that pre-existing condition is not monitored and managed. So it is not uncommon for us to see bleeding in the eye due to high blood sugar that is uncontrolled for a very long period of time, as well as what we call hypertensive retinopathy, which is bleeding and swelling in the eye due to hypertension. So really, oftentimes it really does come down to being holistically well, where we will see that people have healthy eyes. Okay, there are definitely other conditions that are just completely isolated from the health conditions of the body that will occur in the eyes, that can sometimes be a result of genetics, injury, trauma, that sort of thing. But the eye health is a very huge component of allowing us to see how your overall general health is.
And
Oh,
if you want to look at the eyes, the healthy eye and the healthy vision, is there any dividing line between the two?
So, healthy eyes and healthy vision. Healthy vision is typically vision that is going to be corrected with corrective lenses, right? So, whether that be glasses, whether that be contact lenses. Healthy eyes, though, that has to do with the structures of the eyes. Cataracts, glaucoma, like I had mentioned previously, diabetic retinopathy, macular degeneration for those individuals that are prone to it. So, there is a fine line, but they can kind of overlap, because when you do have those conditions that would classify somebody as not having maybe a healthy eye, they've got the glaucoma, they've got the cataracts, then that will impede on the vision, so that the vision is not very good. So, being preventative, most things in the eye can be preventative. I'd say about 80% of, conditions that we see that present themselves can be prevented. So that's why, eye care is so important.
That is great. Kina?
Yeah. So the next question is, how does one know that they have unhealthy eyes? What type of symptoms or signs will they be having to indicate that they might be having unhealthy vision?
Dr. Manuel? Is he?
Um, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
part the most important, some of the most important symptoms, of eye defects, border around blurring of vision, having double vision, having inflammations like tearing, discharge, uh, inability to read tiny prints, inability to see objects, whether they are close or far, and the inability to perceive depth perception. So when you cannot do some activities, like you cannot see objects clearly, you cannot read signs on the road, you cannot drive properly because you cannot see clearly the lights and the road signs. So some of these are the signs that show that you might need to see your doctor for some vision assessment.
Okay.
I'd like to actually add on to that point. One of the a major issue in eye health that we see that is very prominent in African Americans, people of African descent, is glaucoma. And glaucoma is actually something that you don't see and you don't feel, and there are hardly any symptoms for. That is really something that would be diagnosed when you come into the eye doctor, but just genetically we're more prone to it, and we would see that. Another note that's interesting about glaucoma treatment. So to say what glaucoma is, it is where higher pressure in the side of the eye can destroy the optic nerve. The optic nerve is a vital, vital, vital part of the eye that sends the signals back to your brain for vision. But in addition, the optic nerve specifically is very responsible for peripheral vision, side vision. So hence, because it doesn't hurt, because people don't really feel it, when we start individuals on drops, we often will see low compliance because people don't, it's not causing their vision to necessarily be blurry. End stages of glaucoma will lead to complete vision loss. But that's something that's very important that's something that there really is no symptoms for oftentimes. And so that is one of the things that, we always like to allow people to realize. This is why it is very, very important to have your eyes checked, even if you don't feel like you're seeing poorly.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dr. Mana, Kina, do you have any follow-up or do I go ahead with any question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Dr. Mana, Dr.
Sir,
Jackie has tried to tell us there's a critical connection, nexus between defects in the eye and the type of vision you possess or you can enjoy. And so when you begin
yes.
to, and you have given us the features of a bad vision. So when you begin to notice these things, you can't read, read no signs and all that. You start having a blurry vision. What steps do you take? Where do you go from there?
Well, the most important thing for every human person who experiences eye discomfort is to seek the help of a doctor. When you cannot see prints no more, when you cannot see distant objects clearly, and when you cannot see people, even objects that are close, these are conditions that we call as refer to as refractive errors. These are errors of refraction, that exists because of the way that the light that enters into the eyes is interpreted by the brain, the retinal stimulation. So when people have these refractive errors, they are encouraged to visit an optometrist to check their vision and give the appropriate corrections. The corrections that the optometrist will give you, what it does is it directs the rays of light from the object you're looking at, object of focus, and direct the light properly on the retinal tissue, that transduces the information that goes into the brain through the optic nerve, like Dr. Rightly said, and then the brain interprets all of that and bring out what you see, So it's basically easy, correctable, and avoidable, conditions, But a lot of people, have this. A lot of people think that it's the way their eyes is, and they continue to live, to be having, and they continue to have vision that is under optimal, that is not at par with what they are supposed to be seeing. They can't see 20/20. They can't even see 20/30 for so many people, which is a standard that is required for driving most places in the world, especially also here in the US. So when they have astigmatism, when they have hyperopia, when they have myopia, these are corrective refractive errors that the optometrist is trained at, identifying and treating just by simple eyeglasses, that will be prescribed in order that, they can see. So if they have things like presbyopia is a little bit more something that affects the old, those that are aging. So when they begin to age, as we begin to age, the muscles of the eyes begin to weaken, the ciliary muscles. So when they begin to weaken, they are no longer able to contract, to allow for focus of light for the eyes to focus properly on an object. So that results to many people pushing objects, farther away from themselves, in order to see, because for them at that point, their amplitude of accommodation is sufficient to help them overcome the task demand. So it is also correctable. She mentioned there are many other classes of eye diseases that are not only corrected by glasses. The macular degeneration, the cataracts, the retinopathies, the maculopathies, all of them, all these other conditions require serious medical diagnosis, and effective management for them to be treated. So the ones, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Mano, that brings me to a follow-up question. Just keep your thoughts there. So when do people know they need to see an ophthalmologist versus an optometrist?
Usually, the optometrists and ophthalmologists work hand in hand as a team. The optometrist is usually the first point of call for most people who just want vision correction. When they get to the optometrist optometrist practice, the optometrist has every training to detect all of these diseases in the eyes. So he or she develops a treatment plan, and sometimes it requires referral to an ophthalmologist. For those that require intravitreal injections and that require so many other forms of medications, it may require that an ophthalmologist, come in and continue the care. So it's simply just basic referral. They understand the differences between when optometrists come in and when ophthalmologists come in. Optometrist is primarily a primary eye care doctor, and ophthalmologist, you can say, you can be likened to be a secondary eye doctor. So both of them work hand in hand, but the optometrist is usually the first person who encounters a lot of cases at community level because they work close contact with the community, with the rest of the members of the community. They are more accessible, and people go to optometry practices more, before any other thing. So, and there they discover any other complicating eye conditions that will require an ophthalmologist to handle it. So then that's when the referral will happen.
Can I quickly ask Dr. Jacqueline these questions? It's a little bit divert from what we have, but I noticed these days that kids starting from age of even 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 almost 6 out of 10 kids are using glasses. Small thing for at schools. They
Yes.
start asking them, okay, yeah, glasses, glasses, glasses. So my question will be divided to two. Number one, what is the effect of this early use of glasses? Because I remember growing up, before you can even start talking about using glasses, it must have, I mean, you must have gotten to a certain age. I would believe
Yes.
that it's due to maybe old age, or but these days now it's like even a child that is not even using glasses is seeing himself or herself as abnormal because everybody is using it. So
Absolutely. So
what is the effect? What is the effect of that as they grow up? That's number one. Then number two, what do we think is responsible for this early use of glasses by kids? And what can the parents do? That's like a three questions in one, actually, if we can.
yeah, absolutely. So it's actually it touches on my education from UCLA, which I was a biological anthropology major. So we studied a lot of the origins of humans. And so to be brief about it, but very to the point, if you look at a lot of areas in the world, people actually are farsighted. So they've got a lot of hyperopia. But recently, over the last 100 to 200 years, we've seen a lot more myopia, which is nearsightedness, which means that you see better up close than far away. When we look at it from an evolutionary point of view, truly, it was survival of the fittest. People who are nearsighted could not hunt. They could not survive because they could not see around them to protect themselves. So, due to natural selection, the theory is that most of the world's population really was farsighted because those other people would have been eliminated through natural causes of just, being killed or, disabled, basically, because it is a disability. As we've approached into the 20th century, though, what happened is eyeglasses were found out to be amazing, right? So, the ability for glass to be shaped in a certain way to bend light to really take away this disability and allow people to function. So, what has happened subsequently is just genetics. Basically, nearsighted people have been allowed to survive through these glasses and they're reproducing. So their children are nearsighted. So it's becoming more and more prominent. And actually, it is a global, what we would almost call kind of almost a pandemic of sorts. I mean, it's not going to kill anybody, but to be nearsighted, and as it progresses more and more, the complications health-wise are immense, right? So you're much more, likely to have retinal tears, retinal detachments, just visual issues in general. Now, in the States, what has been happening is, a program that a lot of doctors have tried to introduce to their younger patients, which is called myopia control. And it's done through various different ways. Previously, it was done by actually putting on a contact lens on the child at night that would actually compress the cornea to where the eye was the exact perfect shape. So when they woke up in the morning, they saw wonderful, because remember, nearsightedness means that you have a longer eye than the average eye. So when a contact lens is too tight, compresses it, you're great for the whole day. And that would be done every night in the hopes that the eye would not stretch. In addition, what has also been happening is that doctors have been prescribing contact lenses that are traditionally reserved for people who are in their 40s with presbyopia, who actually require, reading glasses, because the thought is that they are not utilizing the muscles quite as much, which we have also done research that says and suggests that more reading, more people involved in academia causes the eye to stretch more. So therefore the myopia worsens. Okay. So those are some of the ways that we're trying to get around it. Ultimately, it's one of those things that we will continue to see more and more and more of. Okay. As technology advances, perhaps it will kind of remedy some of that, but it really comes from a biological nature that we have been given an artificial means to live with these amazing glasses. So,
So before Dr. Emmanuel kind of went on this, I mean, that kind of that kind of scared me, because with what you just narrated now, that being biological, and
yeah.
So a time might be coming that, okay, as soon as you give birth to a baby, you just put glasses on them right there and there. Because
Not
that's what is
necessarily.
going.
Yeah. So we will see more children that are that need glasses just due to genetic reasons. But we also, you have to think of certain ethnic groups are more prone to having glasses. So when you see people of Asian descent, we see a lot more myopia. There's a lot more studying that's going on oftentimes. Oftentimes, people of African descent are more hyperopic. That could be changing over the next few years. In the States, we see a lot of Native Americans that have very, very, very high amounts of astigmatism, as well as people of Latino descent who are derivatives of Native Americans that also have a very high amount of astigmatism. And this is because of the shape of the eyelids. The astigmatism means that the front of the eye is more curvy in one meridian versus another. So the shape of the eyelids and how they are constantly rubbing against the eyes causes that prominent, curvature in one meridian. Okay. So we will see these things that are, as our world gets, I guess, smaller because we're all more interconnected, we will see these things that are not super alarming. They've actually been going on for many years in certain cultures, in terms of, genetic predispositions for, myopia versus astigmatism. But it is interesting to, gather further data on it as we go forth to see, what can be done to lessen it perhaps, or, more so prevent it. So.
Wow,
Wow.
this is very interesting. Before Dr. Manuel say one or two things about this, don't you think technology also could be responsible for all of this? For instance, let me flash back. It might be plus or minus because growing growing up, there was nothing like a laptop. There was nothing like a tablet. What we used to use then at elementary school in Africa was we call it slate.
Yeah.
You use a chalk to write on it. So there's nothing to glue your eyes on. But right now, these kids at even a tender age, now everybody is on tablet, everybody is on cell phone. Even some of them, if they are watching glasses, if they are watching the TV, they are very close to the TV. The emission from the TV, from the screen, from the screen, don't we think that all of these things also have some negative effect on people's eyes? What do you think? Did you guys hear me?
Yes, I heard you. I wanted
Okay.
to have Dr. Emmanuel speak. I've been
Yes.
speaking
Okay.
a
Now,
lot.
okay. Go ahead, Dr. Mada.
Emmanuel, go ahead.
Well, what? Yeah, I'm here. So what we get, what we have. I mean, like she explained, we are in a technology age. A lot of young people are focused on mobiles, in phones, internet, everywhere. So the visual, the computer vision syndrome, that is what we call it, something that results from the constant use of the screen of the laptops and some phones. So when it happens, most of these people develop tired eyes, and they can even then develop myopia, because that's one of the ways that you make your eyes more myopic, because you're focused on an object, you're focused on your phone that is very close to your eyes, for a long time. So this can lead to other vision problems. Apart from irritations and inflammations, it can make them to have tired eyes, tearings, and other allergic conditions. So these technologies are not really the main cause of major eye conditions, but they also contribute. It doesn't make young people to develop. For some, it may be a route to quicker progression into either astigmatism or myopia. But for others, if you are able to do your regular eye exercises, put that into consideration when you're doing close work, that will help you to relax the eyes and make sure that your eyes are not, overacting. And the next thing that also causes young children to develop eye conditions, like she said, it's something that it can be genetic. So if it's genetic, it means that then that's what it is. And there's nothing, there's not much that can be done to eliminate it from when you were talking about children that were just born with eye, So, but with the advances in medicine, advances in technology is helping, in developing contact lenses and other forms of lenses, to help these patients see and live better. So it's a constant thing. Most people are also incorporating, most technology experts, they are incorporating blue filters, on the surface of the screen of the phones and the laptops, things that prevent excessive flow of light from the laptop into your eyes. So something that filters off the bad rays, and help you to focus better without having any discomfort. All of those are also available, that you can use to reduce the impact of too much exposure to VDUs, and the phones.
I would like to add to that quickly, though. So it's very important to realize that, the accessibility of, these glasses, say like on Amazon and things like that. We find a lot of patients coming in saying, they already have the blue light filter glasses and they already use them. And the blue light filter glasses basically block the blue lights that are emitted from computers, phones, and tablets that do cause a lot of tired eyes and fatigue. However, these individuals are getting glasses off of like online that are not for them. They actually have a prescription. And so they're not really working, because when you are looking through just basically clear glasses that have the blue light filter, but yet you have a lot of hyperopia or myopia, it's really not effective. So what really needs to happen is that these individuals need to come in to see their eye doctor. We will write them a prescription for what they should actually be seeing, far, near, whatever it is. Then we prescribe the glasses with the blue light filter to be put on it. It's 110% more effective than just buying clear glasses that are blue light blockers, on Amazon. And again, the quality can vary as well. And, sometimes these are really not blue light blockers. So it's important to realize that as well.
Awesome, awesome. By the way, before we continue, please note very well that for some weird reason, Facebook is not streaming this event. So we've posted the YouTube link. So please, you could just share this link with your friend. And if you are watching this, definitely it means you are watching on YouTube. And if you are enjoying what you are listening to, please do us a favor, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the channel, and like this video and share this with someone you don't know whom you might be helping. Okay, so let's do that. And of course, before we continue, we have a question from Stella Ogechi. Stella says, how is glaucoma treated? I don't know if we are going to the treatment right now, but just to let you guys know that there's going to be part 2 of this, because there's no way we can cover this. If I call this master class, there's no way we can cover this. And some of you, by the time we are done treating this, you might just be ready, like Mr. Alex will say that he's just ready to start treating highs as a ophthalmologist. So we're going to be having part 2 of this. So, but I don't know if you guys want to answer Stella right now, or should we push that to when we start talking about treatment? Anybody?
Yeah, I think glaucoma, it's just a combination of a number of optic neuropathies that impact very severely on how we see, because that is the nerve, the optic nerve, that is the nerve that is responsible for transmitting information back to the brain. So when that optic nerve is affected in glaucoma, because that's the area that is usually affected in glaucoma, the back of the eyes. So when glaucoma damages the optic nerve, usually because these nerve cells, the ganglia cells and all, they are not regenerative. They're not like reproducible by the human system in some way. So what happens is that the vision continues to get worse and the damage continues to progress until a treatment is initiated. So generally, what optometrists and ophthalmologists do, you can control certain types of glaucoma. It depends on what type of glaucoma that you have. If you have an open angle glaucoma, or if you have a closed angle glaucoma. So an open angle glaucoma is usually the most chronic form of glaucoma that is more common than the closed angle glaucoma. Most closed angle glaucomas are caused, as a result of trauma or something hitting your eyes, and then you require a surgery, to allow for flow of fluid the eye produces, and that allowing the fluid will decrease the pressure in the eyes. So, but if you have something as chronic as open angle glaucoma, where you have a normal vision, you are still seeing things, but you're gradually losing your peripheral vision, if the doctors identify and discover that you have this condition, the doctors are going to institute medical treatments. They're going to give you a lot of medications, and they're also going to either recommend you to do some kind of surgery. You can have your drugs that are given to you to reduce your eye pressure, because then what happens is that there is buildup of pressure in the eyes because the eyes are not draining fluid, draining the aqueous humor. They're not draining them properly anymore. So this accumulation of aqueous fluid beneath or under the skin of the retina, the macula, and the optic nerve, they compress all the tissues there, and they just keep dying off. So the more they die off, we'll get to the point where we have a compression, which is what we call clinical cupping, whereby the pressure has pushed all the nerves and compressed them on the wall of the opening, through which it passed into the brain. And so when they are there, you have full-blown glaucoma. So most of the times they cannot be healed because it's not regeneratable. They cannot recover the dead nerve cells that are already lost during the process. So what doctors do is to make sure that they identify your problem early enough, make sure that you're not gradually progressing to glaucoma, and then institute treatment early, because early treatment can actually manage the condition, but it will not treat it. So what we do is to manage the glaucoma for the rest of your life. If you have glaucoma, it's something that you're gonna have to live with the rest of your life. Okay, so, and what you need then is to keep taking your medications. The medications the doctors will give you will help to compress the pressure in your eyes and allow the eyes to drain the aqueous fluid that accumulate there faster and better. Wow. So there are also other surgical interventions that can be done, in the process, whereby the doctors can try to open up a channel in your eyes and the iris, and then allow for, normal flow. But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't need eye drops, the rest of your life too. So most developments in surgical care now is trying to incorporate a complete elimination, of the production of the aqueous, so that the aqueous doesn't. But that's not a possibility. That's not a clinical possibility, because your eyes will continue to produce aqueous humor, because that's what keeps the eyeball in shape. If your eyeball is flattened, you're not going to see nothing. So it's important that they maintain a balance between production of aqueous and its drainage. Well, if there is a blockage, in the instances where it doesn't flow well, then it means that you have glaucoma, and you might likely be on long lifetime management.
Wow. Okay, I don't know if Dr. Jacqueline wants to add to what Dr. Christopher has shared.
No, he was very comprehensive.
Yes.
Thank you.
I started feeling it right here.
Yeah.
We, okay, okay.
I will add though that in the states, optometry is state regulated. So what has been happening is legislation has been passed in multiple states where optometrists are actually able to not only manage glaucoma patients through drops, but actually perform the laser surgeries that are
Oh, wow.
required oftentimes to open up the area where it allows more aqueous to flow. So that is a very exciting thing in terms of the expansion of optometry and what we do. Because going back to the prior question, optometrist versus ophthalmologist, when it's very straightforward, optometrists don't typically do surgeries, but ophthalmologists do. Now we are expanding the scope of practices of practice in optometrists in the states to where we do surgeries now in some states. So it's exciting to see how that progresses, especially with glaucoma treatment.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
I know we have a lot of questions that
Mm.
we already line up, but just for the advantage of some teenagers, young adults, a child in high school that is watching you guys and just the way you are talking, just feel like becoming a ophthalmologist or the rest. I know it's not one of the questions we list, but do you want to do them a favor by just tell someone watching you out there the career pathway that, okay, from where you are, let's okay, they are in college, what does it entail to become you or to get to where you are?
Well, for the states path again, optometry is such a unique, very very unique career because it varies so differently in every country. But in the states, the way that you would pursue this path is typically you need 4 years of undergraduate. A lot of the prerequisites that would be required for medical school. Yet each optometry school is actually slightly different in their prerequisites, so that would be something that you would have to look at. The schools of interest that you might want to apply to after you finish your undergrad and see which additional courses they might require, like something in psychology. Some of them do physiology. I know that one of the American optometry schools that happens to be in Puerto Rico also requires, in addition to your curriculum, to also take Spanish, right? Because most of your patients are going to be Spanish. So that is part of your actual studies when you do get into optometry school down there, the Inter-American University in Puerto Rico. After that, it's 4 years of optometry school. The first 2 years are usually spent with basic sciences and, introduction of very basic clinical techniques. And then the third year is oftentimes when you are doing, a lot more hands-on things with patients that are often, set up in a clinic that is adjacent to your school so that you can, really work with these patients. The fourth year usually consists of externships that you go to different practice settings. They could be corporate practice, they could be surgical, ophthalmology, optometry practices, private practices, and then you graduate. But after you graduate, you also have the option to pursue a residency that you would specialize in a subset of optometry. So whether it be ocular disease, whether it be pediatrics, whether it be just contact lens specialties, there's a lot of different little paths to go. And then you have to be licensed, so you have to pass a national board examination. Luckily, optometry school allows you to kind of complete different steps during your tenure in school. So your second year, I think you take the first part of your board exam. The third year, you might take the second, and then the fourth year, you take the third, right? Then you have to go and get, licensed in the state of your choice or multiple states. As in my case, I'm licensed in 13 states just due to me practicing teleoptometry so much. So that's kind of the way that you get to where you want to go. Then there's, opening up to the different practice settings and modalities. So you can pursue, your own private practice. The startup is going to be a little bit pricey oftentimes. You could also work for corporate practice, places such as Lens Crafters, National Vision, America's Best. And then, then there's the opportunity to also do what we have in America that is very prominent here is vision therapy. So actually, helping patients who have muscular issues and controlling the movements of their eye, you put them through, a regimen of how do you say it? Just a regimen of exercises. So they might have a cycle of
Optotic
12.
exercise.
Yes, exactly. So that's something that's also a path. And now we've got teleoptometry, which I am always the spokesperson for that, apparently. So it's just a really, really cool career. I would not change anything about the way that I got to this point.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, let me rest my case there before we turn this to career show. Over to you, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, Dr. Monel, you used a medical lexicon or jargon, and you didn't explain it. You must know you are talking to laymen, and a lot of people who are listeners may not understand. So I want us to start from there. You said a lot of people may not even be able to enjoy 2020 vision or 2020-30. Yeah, that's a medical jargon, medical lexicon, and you didn't explain it. Did you expect us to understand what you were saying or what? So can we go on from there? Let us know what you mean by this 2020 stuff.
Well, having a 2020 vision is more or less like having a standard vision. It is a measurement that we use in the eye care industry to determine a person's ability to see, or the level of clearness or the level of sharpness of an individual's eyesight. Okay, so what it does, the numbers just measures based on the distance that your doctor have positioned you, and the distance of the object that the doctor wants you to read, the object of focus. So usually it's 20 feet in the US, so that's what it means. So if you can see 20/20, it means that what a normal eye can see at standing 20 feet away from it, your eyes can see it. Some can even see beyond that. If you're very younger, you can see even 20/15, because most people that are young have healthier eyes, and they also have slightly even better visual acuity. So it's called visual acuity. It is the measurement of the clearness of your vision, and you have to do it at a certain distance where your eyes are relaxed. The distance is made in such a way that you should be able to see it at that distance with your accommodation relaxed. So with accommodation relaxed, a normal eye should see 20/20. But in most cases, what we find in the hospitals, in the clinics, is that most eyes that come to the eye clinics, of course, they either not seeing 20/20, they are seeing, lesser, ranges. So you could see people coming in with 20/50, 20/60, 20/70. The higher the number, it means that the person's vision is worsening. So the goal is to correct everybody to 20/20. And having a 20/20 vision, it doesn't even include other factors like your peripheral vision, and your ability to perceive colors and your ability to perceive depth. So those ones are also other aspects of vision or seeing, that we also address using special tests. So you may likely just see things, but you might not be perceiving depth properly, or you might not be seeing colors very well. So color vision and color vision and depth perception are also other aspects of seeing, that a lot of people, needs to be paying attention to.
Wow.
This is
So
It's
just to
very,
give
wow.
you
this is
anything to
serious.
add, let me ask, I'm going to ask a layman's question. So because what I'm going to ask is happening all over the place, all over there, wherever. People go and buy reading glasses. Perhaps you are not reading well. The things look blurred when you read it. You go and buy glasses from the Walmart or from one store, or from the market. You put it in your eyes and you start seeing well. And that solves your problem. Is that correct? Or does it pose any danger to the person who has done this? But I know this is the general practice. People are doing this. So,
They're being their own doctor, right? I know, in my experience, my grandmother, they never went to the eye doctor. I mean, they would like get the glasses from the Goodwill and just try which ones they saw best with, and that was like what they did, right? But yes, so there is no real danger. The danger comes from the complacency of not thinking that you need to go to the eye doctor because you found the prescription that you can read with, right? Because by default, what happens is you push it off more and more. You literally never go to an eye doctor, oftentimes. Now, we do see people coming in and saying, yeah, I've been using these readers for the last 5 years just from Walmart, and I'm just realizing now that they're just not as strong as they should be, and I just need a little bit more. And they don't realize that every few years, the amount of magnification that you need for reading after age 40 increases as that muscle within the eye progressively weakens. Okay. So the danger is inadvertent. There is no danger. You're not going to make your eyes bad. I mean, if you if you wear them and they're not right, then you're not going to be able to see, or you're just going to have a headache. I mean, that's just, but the danger is that, where we can sometimes be putting a band-aid on something that needs further addressing. So, the cataracts and that sort of thing is always something that, people just think that the readers that they have aren't strong enough. But it's really that what they're looking through is so dirty and opaque that it doesn't matter how strong the readers are, they're not going to see well. But that could have been addressed years prior from coming to the eye doctor to get a legitimate pair of reading glasses that were exact and tailored to them. But we run into kind of a larger issue when people are not trying to be diligent about the eye health in general. But I mean, no, there's no real danger per se.
Wow. 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 I mean, it's been an amazing 1 hour. And just as it has been announced, there's going to be part two of
Yeah.
today's show, because definitely there is no just way we can finish all of this. We usually take like a 1 minute television pitch, but I believe we've done justice to the little ones we've discussed today. So if someone wants to actually locate you, Dr. Jacqueline, how can someone locate you? If possible, your social media handle. If someone wants to ask you questions after this show, you want to get hold of you, and there's a monitoring spirit, they just want to monitor you online. How can they really locate you?
Absolutely. So my email, I'll put it down, but it's ellingtoneyecare.com. And we are, I say we, but it's really me. We actually started in Walmart not even a year ago with our first teleoptometry practice. And in September, in just a few short months, we'll have 11 practices. So we are expanding rapidly in the area. So if you type in my name on Google, you'll find me, then Ellington Eye Care. And we're in different states. So Maryland, Nebraska, Colorado, soon to be Florida, the Florida area, a lot of different areas in Florida and Pennsylvania, as well as Maine.
Wow, wow. So you look busy.
I kind of am. The 2-year-old keeps me the most busy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Christopher. So, so
Yeah,
someone that wants to get hold of you online, your social media handle, how can they locate you? Where are you located? Go ahead.
I live. My social media apps. I already put up my Instagram ID. Uh, Chris.ugo Chris.ugo.e. Yeah, that links you to my Instagram. But I also have a Facebook account, Christopher Emmanuel. But you
Mhm.
can link to both. Once you get the Instagram, you can link to the Facebook with the Instagram as well.
Okay.
Uh, my phone number, I'm going to drop my email, and I live here in Illinois. I am, having trained in Africa, coming to integrate into American optometry requires us to undergo additional training and additional certifications. So I am in the process, of trying to get into optometry practice in the US. So for some people, it's a 2-year journey. For others, it's going to be another 4 years. Depending on the admissions, admission that requirements that you're able to fulfill based on the assessment of your credentials. So it's usually a very tight one for most of us who come in and trying to integrate. It's been hell for a lot of people. So, but I don't know. We will get there. We are working, on it. And thanks to God, there are, many other parts, professional parts as well that we can explore. In the event, that certain considerations may make you want to delve into a different aspect of healthcare. You know, I mean, yeah. So that's basically what I am doing right now. So once I get my American license, then I can have a place I can work for. Yeah.
Wow,
We can, and
that,
once you get your American license, we can
Yes.
join forces and do it all. And I can't wait. The
and
finish line is
honestly,
near.
honestly, Dr.
That would
Christopher,
be
I know this show is all about healthcare.
that.
It's about holistic. What's that? Three words: robust. Holistic health. For our viewers. But then I think another thing that the Kinaid show team could also look into is for like people like you after you've gone through this, and I believe there are a lot that have gone through what you are going through to help our viewers that possibly in Africa trying to come over here, or some that are even here. And I know someone that was a medical doctor back home in Nigeria, and she came over here for the past almost 8 years. She's still trying to find her way. She can't even practice. So maybe one of these days we will put up a show like that that will also help people. How can they fast track, if there's any way, if there's any English like that? Anyway, it has been my pleasure co-host today's show. Don't let us flog it that much. Mr. Alex, you have any word before the host take it over from there?
I think it's been
It's
wonderful,
it's
and
also very expensive.
we didn't
Okay.
really scratch the issue because they were very comprehensive, they were very detailed, they're very knowledgeable, and because of their depth of knowledge and their depth of experience, I mean, they were just pushing out fast and fast and fast. So by in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll continue this show. Thank you.
Awesome,
Wonderful.
awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. And it's my pleasure to bring back our host once again, Dr. Kina Omeneko. Over to you.
Wow. Dr. Emmanuel and Dr. Jackie, thank you so much. I mean, I learned so much today. And like
Thank you.
had said, we didn't even scratch this topic. I never knew there was so much information that would benefit us and the general population. So please be on the lookout because we're going to have this again. But I wanted to let our viewers know that eyesight is one of the most important senses that we need for everyday living. And as we age, the reduction in sight can be a problem. But there are certain things that we can do to maintain eye health, which we didn't even get to today. but it circles around the same thing we've been talking on Kina Health show after show. And what are those things again? I'm just gonna name them: diet, eye exercise, practicing good eye hygiene, and having regular checkups. You just cannot stay away from the doctor. So, thank you for another wonderful show, and we will see you all in the next few weeks.
Yes, thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome.